So he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you can give me $1,000 each week for the next 5 weeks, I'll let you stay. I hadn't done that much.
Period. Yeah.
But something really fascinating happened. When he gave me that lifeline, I got excited. I got happy. And for every week for the next 5 weeks, I made that $1,000. My energy shifted from a negative to a positive. And it just seemed like people were coming in those doors spending money. Mm-hmm. And that business made the money in order to pay. I've been in sales a long time, so I understand the power of a positive attitude. Mm-hmm. But I never really actually saw it in application until then.
Yeah.
I think that you create a space, but it is a reflection of you. The energy is a reflection of you. And people either don't buy in or not buy in. Mm-hmm. And I believe that.
Peace, family. Welcome to the Black Businessman Warrior. Another day, another opportunity here on this podcast. Talk to black men who are in the business of making money and making an impact in the community. Today I got Baba Kazemde with me on. What's going on, Baba? Black Dot. I come here to the Black Dot often. Coffee, listen, this man know coffee. This is what he do, right? Pour overs, different. I just get the black cup, but I see what he's passionate about the coffee, which we're going to talk about today, and just talk about his journey and where we're going to take the Black Dot next. All right?
Okay.
All right. So, all right. Introduce yourself a little. Come on.
Name is Kazemde Jambo. I am the owner of the Black Dot Cultural Center and bookstore, and we are a coffee shop as well. Born and raised in Jersey. Been in Atlanta since 1998. Wife, 3 daughters, 6 grandchildren, 2 great-grands.
Okay, blessing.
Yes, yes.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. All right, so how did the Black Dot come about?
Ooh, you ready for this long answer?
We ready for the long answer? Oh yeah.
I guess I want to start with a little bit more about me. Mm-hmm. I have a 9th grade education. When the military came out, one of the things that's consistent was I always liked to read. I grew up in a household where my family, my mom, or my dad, they were always reading. So reading was normal,
yeah.
Right, to me. And as a young man, especially in my early 20s, I started reading about African history. We were talking about the Congo before the show, right? African history prior to colonialism and prior to the enslavement period, right? And the more I read, the more I understood that I had to be better. Like if you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
That our ancestors had really high standards. And for those of us even here in the States, they have grandparents and great-grandparents, depending on your age, those standards was pretty high. So that kind of helped move me out of that mentality of the streets, crime, doing the things that I was doing. So over the decades, I guess, I felt that if I could put a book in another young brother or another young sister's hands, that they could have the same experiences that I had. So that's where the whole bookstore concept came into play. So sometime in maybe latter 2015 or 2016, I kind of ventured off on Main Street into Green Love Kitchen.
So you weren't here in Lithonia, you weren't living here or anything like that?
I wasn't living, because it's the city of Lithonia. I live in unincorporated cab, which is Lithonia.
What did you know about the area before you came here?
I know, it's interesting because a few years prior to me coming down here, I was, I'm into politics, right? And I was doing a demographic study, and I was looking at the median income for DeKalb County for zip codes. And there I saw this little town, 1 square mile, Lithonia, and I'm like, what is that? Right? I thought I lived in Lithonia.
Yeah.
So I came down here, and actually City Hall was right next to us.
Yeah.
And Darryl Honore, which is councilman now, he was the mayor. So I walked in and just had a conversation with the mayor. It's like, small town, you could do that. And, so that was my first time coming. And then the second time, I saw a video on Facebook, Muhammad Cannon, about a school, independent black school that they wanted to put in that same space next door. So that brought me, I was like, I know that spot, so I came down here. They hadn't opened it yet, but Green Love Kitchen was open. And I kind of waltzed in there. And I have a Think Black t-shirt brand. And one of the employees and one of the patrons asked me about it. And they told me to come back in a couple of days to sell them a shirt, right? So I came back, and that's when I met Javon.
Shout out to Javon.
And Mullen, and sold their shirts, sold them a shirts, and I was like,
they doing their thing down at Greenwood.
What's interesting is it was like I was going West End and other places before that, but this just felt home. Plus it was on the east side, right? So, and at that time, they were in their early 30s. And I'm like, even though I'm not vegan, I'm like, if I can't, I'm walking around with a Think Black t-shirt. So I didn't just, it's not just a slogan for me. It's really a thing.
The lifestyle, like you want to live, Think Black.
Exactly. So how do you not support young black entrepreneurs? So I started coming down here every day. And Javon started letting me sell my t-shirts at a table at his restaurant. Because I was running back. He would tell people about it, and I was running because I used to keep it in the trunk of my car. He said, just bring them in here and set up. And I used to walk up and down Main Street just imagining my business. So I wrote a business overview, not a plan, just an overview on what my business would look like. And I shared it with Javon and Mullen because they're, to me, educated entrepreneurs. I wanted them to critique it.
Yeah, like, what do you think about this?
What do you think about this, right? And that was in probably late spring, early summer of 2016. In 2017, Mullen and Javon came and asked me, did I want to set up my bookstore in front of their restaurant? Like they incubated me. At the time, I was excited. But I'm like, I don't have no money. Where am I going to get these books from? Where am I going to get my counter from? And we set the date for January 3rd. It's actually my 7th year anniversary. So, but on January 17, I walked in there with a counter, little iPad for my cashier, and I had probably about 30, 40 titles, and I set up at Green Love. In August of that same year, because in my space now, used to be the African Village, Ray Hagan.
Okay, yeah, Ray Hagan.
Ray Hagan had the African Village there. He came to me in August and he said, Kazemde, I'm leaving. So I was.
What did he end up leaving for?
He just was
tired of it.
Tired, right? So now this whole space opened up, and in my mind, I'm like, we kind of want to keep the block.
Yeah, with us.
With this kind of energy, right? But going from a 12 by 9 space, paying a couple $100 a month rent, to this space just seemed like a lot. And I was talking to Mullen, and Mullen said, take the lead. Again, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know where the money was coming from. And like friends from decades ago, it's like, what you need? What is it going to take? And
I want to say one thing on that. What I've learned in my life is that when you try, other people come.
Absolutely.
It's just been a real. I see so many people who like, oh, nobody wants to help me. I say, but you're not trying.
You're not trying. You know what I hear? The people say, I remember when you were talking about, or you were always working on this, always. I'm going back years that I forgot about.
You didn't even think about it.
That I'm not even thinking about. But those were the ones that was like, what do you need? And I'm like, I can't pay you. I don't know how. Don't worry about it. What do you need? So I signed the lease September 2017. We went through a build-out phase, and November, Black Dot Culture Center in that space. We've already opened in Greenlawn.
The actual space where we're at now.
Right now
Yes.
is launched.
So it's Black Dot Cultural Center,
yes,
bookstore, and
yes.
coffee shop.
How did that happen?
Yes.
Well, in the overview that I spoke about, I listed coffee shop. But going in, because of course the limited funds that I had to play with, I couldn't launch the coffee immediately. So it started off, the corporate name is the Black Dot Cultural Center, but it's DBA, the Black Dot Cultural Center and Bookstore. And but I had that little coffee brewer, and I used to pretty much I wasn't serious about coffee.
Yeah.
I used to brew it, and I might sell it or I might give it away. It was there.
It was just there.
It was just there, right? It didn't become a profit center for me until I had talked to several contractors about coming in and building a coffee bar. And I had an old white guy that used to clean up in there. And one day I said, "Can you build that coffee bar?" This is 2020 when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And everything shut down. I was like, "Can you build that coffee bar?" He said, "Yeah, I could build it." I went and bought the material, and we built out the coffee bar. And I need to go back. So another brother who had a coffee shop in East Point that kind of inspired me. He said, "If you want to get serious about coffee, this is the roaster you need to talk to. This is who you need to do business. There's plenty of roasters out here."
Yeah.
But what's significant about that is not just my roaster had really good beans, coffee beans, but you ever talk to you ever ask somebody a question and you knew you were getting a 30-minute answer?
Yeah.
Well, you kind of like that too. but everything is relevant.
No, it's relevant.
It's relevant. It's not like I'm wasting my time.
It's a 30-minute answer that you're getting from an expert who knows what they're talking
Absolutely.
about. Absolutely. You're like, I'm really getting education.
I'm getting education.
Yes.
Exactly. So
I didn't take it as that. I understood
you
what
understand what
you're saying.
But just so the listeners, so they know what I'm saying, it's like there's a difference.
There's a difference. Yeah, when somebody's talking your head off, and somebody's coming, you ask them a question, and they're like, "No, let me show you how this actually. You think it's just roasting beans?
Right.
Actually, we have to go to A, B, C, and D." And you're like, and you're fascinated.
And I'm fascinated. Yes. I'm like, wow. And it was like just so much. Coffee is a science. It's like wine, right? It's really a science. So the more he talked, the more I was like, oh. And the more it kind of fit in my overall business model, because really, Black Dot Culture Center is really about education.
Yes.
And even we approach coffee the same way. It's like, why are you drinking what you're drinking? Like, I was prior to that, Dunkin' Donuts was my thing.
Yeah.
I hate Dunkin'. I can't stand the taste of it, right? But we don't know what we're getting. Like, just your average person that does drink coffee, first thing they do is put cream and sugar. You really don't know what you tasted, because that's masking.
Yes.
Right? I tell people, taste it black first. Know what you're getting, then add. So now you know what you're getting. But so the coffee bar was, getting back to your answer, the coffee bar was born in 2020. And I'm still really excited about where that's going.
Well, that gives a great transition into where that's going. Before I go there, I want to ask, what is the energy that brings a lot of people back? Yes, the coffee's great. Yes, and it's a cultural center. But what do you think is the energy that brings so many people back? 'Cause every time I come, I see two things. One is familiar faces, but two is other people. It's my first time here, and somebody told me about it, and I love the experience.
You know, for the longest, I kind of pondered on that. And I'm kind of a humble behind-the-scenes person. So somebody told me early on in my first year, it was two things that led me to this, that my energy, spirit is what's in this space, right? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I heard them, kind of understood it, until 2019 was my toughest year. I got way behind in my rent, things was bad. Didn't know what to do. Landlord was about to kick me out, right? And So I'm like, he was like, I need you out by the end of the month. And I was like, no way I'm gonna be out at the end of the month. I was trying to buy myself some time, but I still physically couldn't have been out by the end of the month. So I was trying to buy myself another 30
This is the actual black dot.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
you gotta leave next Thursday.
Yeah, and so he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you can give me $1,000 each week for the next 5 weeks, I'll let you stay. I hadn't done that much.
Period. Yeah.
But something really fascinating happened. When he gave me that lifeline, I got excited. I got happy. And for every week for the next 5 weeks, I made that $1,000. My energy shifted from a negative to a positive. It just seemed like people were coming in those doors spending money. And that business made the money in order to pay. I've been in sales a long time, so I understand the power of a positive attitude, but I never really actually saw it in application until then.
Yeah.
I think that you create a space, but it is a reflection of you. The energy is a reflection of you, and people either don't buy in or not buy in, and I believe that.
No. I definitely come in there. You know, we always mess around. I love the guys. Sometimes I make my way. Sometimes I'll be like, man, if I go to Black Dot, I'm gonna get great conversation. I need to work, so I can't go down there sometimes.
That's the downside. People say that. It's like, no, you can work.
I mean, like, nobody's bothering you, but I come in and it's just somebody's having a great conversation. There's new people in there. Everybody's having a good time. It's not loud. It's not quiet. It's just a great energy, and we're talking about things that we want to talk about, right?
It's the village meeting spot. It's really taking barbershop talk and kind of expanding it. It's like now we got the sisters. It's expanding the space.
It's expanding the space, you know. Right. So it's very good, you know. So now that we're here, you're doing the coffee, you're doing the events now, is that correct? Right?
Well, I've always done events. So
how did that come about?
When I moved from Green Love, right, I realized something. When I was set up in Green Love, like, you know how you go in bookstores and like the books will be in shelves, right? You see the side binders and you read, right? But I didn't set it up that way. I set the books up where they were front facing. Yeah. And I noticed something. So people weren't coming in Green Love to buy a book. They was coming to buy food, but while they were sitting around, they was reading
books,
the titles. And they see something that caught their eye, they would come up and buy it, right? So when I moved next door, I was like, I need to create movement, events. So if people are coming to the events, they'll see the books on the wall, other merchandise, and by virtue of that, they'll buy. So it started as just really something to create the opportunity to sell other items, and it grew from that into I can't just really give fits away because Georgia Power is no joke.
You work at money, right?
So now it's about, that's about it. I won't say it's just about making money, but if an event is not paying for itself, it's costing me.
It's costing people, yeah.
And if it's costing me, it makes it harder for me to keep my doors open. So, but I'm kind of a community-minded person anyway, so it's just something that falls in what I like to do. So creating events, creating opportunities, and we have a space to do it.
So how do you, we're dealing with events and being, especially in a space like this, how do you manage between one, making the money, right, making sure you get paid, keeping the energy of the place, right, because there's a situation where, you know, if the event doesn't go right or something doesn't happen or it's bad energy there, they call you. They don't call the event person because people still, this is not a warehouse, right? People connect the events with Black Dot, right? No matter what, your name is on it.
Absolutely.
How do you manage that? Because people want their creative control, but you also have to protect their reputation and you have to make your money.
That's $1 million question. And what I've learned and continue to learn. And continue to learn is you can't just jump in bed with everybody. Sometimes you need to take time, right? We've gotten to a point now where everything is like that. Oh, let's do it. But then you really don't know
Who you dealing with?
who you're dealing with. And every time I either, it's a knee-jerk reaction or it's homeboy business,
Yeah.
right? Every time I do that, it tends to turn itself on its head. Now, there's two types of events that we do. There's events where you could rent the space out and do your event. And then there are events that we partner, or there's Black Dot events itself. So I'm speaking more on the type of events that we partner, right? Because it's like a marriage. You can't just jump into bed, right? You really have to get to know who you're dealing with, what they bring to the table, and do they uphold, first of all, do they uphold their own standards? But secondly, what does Black Dot mean to them? Because I've learned is that a lot of people just want to do their thing.
Yeah.
Under the guise of we're doing it with Black Dot.
With Black Dot and things like that, but that's not really their thing though.
No, so they're not interested in protecting my brand. They're interested in what they can get out of it. So that's still a learning process, but again, the more you put processes in place,
That's the whole point. So just going to that, how are you starting to document? How are you starting to put that process? What does that look like now? Choosing a partner, we'll start with that one. How do you vet somebody to say, you know what, this person is somebody that I would look to do business with, and not the knee-jerk reaction? What are the criteria that you look for?
So I think that we all have a history, a resume, if you will, right? If you do a certain type of event, comedy, let's say you want to do a comedy spot at Black Dot, where have you done it before? I or someone close to me need to get up, visit, see, what are you bringing? Or are you looking for an opportunity because you're trying to kick off your own, but you have no experiences? There's a difference.
Yeah.
And then you could, if it is that person, you could decide whether or not you want to
Take the chance,
right? But you have to go through a vetting process other than, again, homeboy business. And that means getting up and doing the research, getting out of your comfort zone. Like, I like to go home at 7 o'clock. Sometimes I can't, right? I gotta do what I gotta do. Then
they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that before you become an entrepreneur.
Contracts. Signing an actual contract and spelling out
clearly written what is our responsibility.
Clearly written out. I have this thing. Something goes wrong, and it's not either a policy, a procedure in writing, or a contract. I can't get mad at you. I get mad at me because I left my boundaries wide open. I can't go back and say, oh, well, you did this or you didn't do that.
We have a false assumption things, right? We'd be like, well, you should have known that. That wasn't spelled out clearly. I like to get very precise in things, right? How does this look? What's the overall picture that we're doing? How do we execute it? What does that look like day to day?
Exactly.
What does every event look like? What are my obligations? What are my responsibilities? When is payment due? What is the percentage? That way, the thing is that the problem is work up front. So the work up front is what has to happen. That people don't want to do the work up front, but it kills you on the back end. So I use project management as in we always have a task or a project we do it. So we always have a project brief, right? And the project brief is very boring, because we have to be like, okay, what's the project? What's the purpose of the project? What resources do we need for the project? We have to do all of this research and everything for the project, but when we start executing the project, it's a lot easier. Because somebody comes in a week later, they know exactly what's going on. They see the notes, they see the history and everything. But when we just be like, yo, make the website, right? That's the project. Then you come in, what have we been doing on the website? What have we been doing on these days? It's the same thing when you don't have a contract. It's like, well, you said this. I remember at the last meeting. Where's that at? You don't remember? That's common sense, man. That's people's favorite word, right? And I said, it comes
no, the
out.
part to get me is, I told you, but people play on my age. As if, I'm forgetful, but I'm not that forgetful, right? Everybody would have said, no, I told you, but you forgot. No, I ain't forget that. There's certain things I'm not gonna forget.
That's why I put it down.
But that's why you put it in right.
That's why you put it. The brain is not made to remember, it's made to process.
There you go.
So that's what we.
So those are the lessons on really how you build that out. Like I said, processes. I had an employee a few years ago that was supposed to be, but it was getting a little unbearable. And a friend of mine that's also a project manager, she was like, we either gonna process her to level up, or we're gonna process her out of here. And that's exactly what happened. I ain't have to say fired.
Yep.
We just put processes in place. Exactly.
They move themselves out.
They move themselves. Either you're gonna level up.
Because guess what? You don't have to. Because when you do the processes, you don't have to say why are you not doing it. Because they be like, oh, well, we rang up the thing wrong, right?
I stopped hustling and started doing business.
Yes.
There is a difference. It's a huge difference from operating out of your car, at your home, to doing business.
But processes are very difficult to do, right? So that's one of the standards is like how to go document those processes, put them in the system, having the checklist every day. Hey, when you come in, you have to open up at 5 o'clock. You have to go get the register open. You have to get this drawer here. You got to put these books in here. And then when you come in, you can say, oh, why is this book not here? Oh, I didn't do it. That means you didn't follow the process. That means you didn't follow the checklist. So we don't have to, I don't have to say, hey, and then the policy states that if you don't follow the checklist 3 days in a row, you're fired.
Right.
So I didn't fire you. It's based on, you fired yourself based on the policies.
Yes, those things are necessary. You gotta have them.
They are.
And every time I implement either processes or technology, it seems like, well, let me rephrase that. The lack of implementing those things seems to suffocate the life out of your business. And every time I add something, it seems like my business opens up.
Definitely. Now that's the same way we think about it when we think about the process and technology and making sure that we're efficiency. Right? How do we become more efficient? Having those weekly meetings, making sure that we're and I process. Well, once again, is not just hey, it's a technology thing, right? It's the actual execution,
right?
And then the reviewing of these things and making sure that everything has been done that needs to be done, and that everybody's on the same page.
I used to feel like I couldn't afford something you can't afford not to do.
You cannot. No, you just can't.
You can't afford not to do it.
No, you can't. So now that you talked about that, where are you taking? What do you look at the 3 money centers for Black Dot? Where do you think that? What do you or even expanding on the brand of Black Dot, where do you want to take Black Dot? What are the key initiatives right now?
Key initiatives for me is, one, Black Dot was like a bookstore that happened to have coffee. There's much more upside on the coffee side.
Yeah.
So I'm really flipping that to being more coffee-centric that happen to have books. So that would be from a marketing perspective. It's focused on that. Second, I've always been engaged in the community. So I'm launching my nonprofit, my 501c3, Black Dot Leadership Academy, which is based on STEM classes, youth development classes. So I'm really excited about that. Pretty large nonprofit is partnering up with us to get funding, so we're about to apply for this grant. So I kind of have my hands in that. It's really kind of diversifying the brand. I'm doing publishing seminars for the Cobb County Library. So there's a lot of things that's falling underneath this umbrella. So it's really like creating an umbrella under Black Dot that allows for these other things. So in order to achieve that I'm going through system changes, process changes, kind of removing things that are not profitable, like really taking a focus on what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. That will allow me staff, that will allow me the bandwidth to not be there every day,
Exactly, be able to work above the business.
To be an entrepreneur. Right.
Well, I really say that, so the business owner, right, his job is to organize business activities, right? That's it. Like, to have all the activities in the business, they're actually just organized. And that's it. So it's like, I don't execute any activity here. All activities are executed through somebody else. I just organize what needs to be executed and how the activities are being executed. It's through technology, through a human being, right? So what is it that how are we executing these activities and what we're doing? And that's when you truly know, when you're not doing anything in the business, right? And then when you go above the business is when you actually put somebody in place to organize business activity needs to report to you above the business. But getting there, so that's what I look at with an entrepreneur. His thing is the hustle and grind, is to make it happen, because you have that spirit of building something, of making things, of wearing all the hats. Right. And when you become the business owner, you have all these activities organized. You have everything together.
Yes, it started really fourth quarter of 2023 and first and second quarter of this year. Is like by June, I'm ready to
make that transition. So with the coffee, right? What is your plan to market the coffee? Is that a secret? Is that ducked off?
I don't say it's a secret. I would say it's not always spelled out. So I'm in the process now of, I'm finally doing a business plan. Okay.
Yes.
I am like actually doing, not playing with it or throwing something together, but actually do it.
You understand the marketing plan for this coffee and the whole execution of it has to be something that has to be very precise.
Correct.
Because now that we know what
right.
Marketing is not a one-time event, right? It's a continuous campaign.
Absolutely. That
you have to be, and then continues to measure it. And a lot of people just say, I'm gonna go out here and market. I'm like, what are we measuring? What are we doing?
Right.
What's the actual message behind it?
And putting the things in place that allows you to measure it, right?
Yes.
So it's I'm putting the systems in place. So that's the first step. Simultaneously, I'm getting the business plan done. So once the systems are in place, then we can start really implementing and allocating, because what marketing is allocating funds, resources in order to do it. But it's like, we're kind of at that point, that crossroad where either you go to the next level or you don't.
Yeah.
So things have to happen. Like, I feel like I'm right at that place where this can't be prolonged. This has to happen now.
Right now.
So I'm like really kind of laser focused on making that happen.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate for having you here. We're telling where the Black Dot. A lot of people don't know where it's at actually. Where is it actually at?
Black Dot Culture Center is in Lithonia, the great city of Lithonia, at 6984 Main Street. That's 6984 Main Street.
Social media, where they can
Social media. Well, I'll start with the website.
All right,
start the website. The website is blackdotcc.com. I have to spell out DOT because I say dot, people want to put that period.
I read it first. I was like,
right. Everybody does that. Put black, that period. Instagram is blackdotcc. So is Twitter. I think Facebook is Black Dot CC Bookstore. I should know that, shouldn't I?
You should.
That should roll up. That should roll up.
No, that's not true. You should. Your marketing manager should know that. Right? There's things in the business that you don't know what's happening, and they run by reports. There's a lot of things in my business that I don't know what's going on, and I only know when they run it by reports and I see what's going on.
What's funny is they call me old man and tell me to stay out of it. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like everybody wants to advertise on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm like, all my people's on Facebook. They spend money too. They're coffee drinkers. They read books. They like to come out, but that's where you can find us, Black DOTCC, or type in Google. I mean, Google's a beautiful thing.
You got a lot of reviews. You on the map, everything like that.
Got great reviews. We got 4.9 review. I think we're over 150 reviews or close to it.
I said, I mean, I appreciate it. Listen, Black Business Warrior, you heard it here. Great episode. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me all the time in the Black Dot. You know what I'm saying? I drink my coffee. I need to become a great coffee drinker. I just drink it black. That's it. You know, I just be like the house brew. You know,
Those are the coffee drink. I mean,
I just get it black, no cream, no sugar.
hey, straight no chaser.
Straight no chaser.
But that's who you are anyway, isn't it?
That's it. I'm just very bland. You know what I'm saying? I like the coffee. I like the strong and hot.
I want to say thank you for having me come upstairs and doing this interview.
All right, I appreciate it.
You know, it's not often I get to tell my story, and for those that allow me to do, it's much appreciated.
No, yo, one thing about it is a lot of brothers. That's why we have the platform where what's highlighted is the brothers who is men who are, I made 100 million, 20 million, but there's men who are just working and toiling in the community every day, and they're hiring 1 or 2 people. They're trying to build something, and they're working with other brothers to build it. There's a whole story, you know, and how it all entwines. So that's the mission of Black Business Man Podcast, is to have that here. So
that's important and necessary.
All right, thank you so much.